Okay.
Hi, I'm Talin with the Golden Brush, and I am so delighted today to be at the Gil Walsh Interior Design Studio. And we're in a special workroom that's only one section of this beautiful design center here in West Palm Beach, Florida. So Gil, I hear so many lovely things about you, and I've admired your design work for many years. That's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into design. What was your aha moment that caused you to decide to go into this? Yeah.
It probably started as a youngster. My family were collectors of beautiful art and beautiful antiques, and so was my grandfather and my grandmothers. And my grandfather had passed away, and I was in a church for the service, and I didn't want to cry, so I had to think about something to occupy my mind. So I thought, well, what am I going to inherit? Is this going to be good stuff or bad stuff? And I thought, I don't know if this is junk my family has. So I started thinking about it at a very young age. I was probably 8 or 10, and so I always was interested in decorative art and antiquities, contemporary art. And I started through school, I went into fashion design because I was also interested in fashion. That was a real interesting field to me. And from there I moved on to theater, and I did stage sets for college. I went to some really lovely schools that really prepared me. But in the process I thought, well, fashion design is a little too narcissistic for me, and theater, I'll become a drug addict. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do to combine them? And I decided to go into interior design because it's a broad-based field full of, it's theatrical if you really think about it. Life is a stage. So that's how it started. And my father was so upset. He said, "You'll never earn a living." And I said, "No, I think I will. I think I will." So I've been in it for over 35 years, and we're standing in a 5,000 square foot office space. This is just the library, which is about 2,000 square feet, and we're doing well. We're doing well.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, now, you have a very distinct style, and I like to claim you as a Floridian designer, even though you have other locations.
Right.
But in my mind, you have the Palm Beach look, and
Thank
it's
you.
very fresh. It is Floridian without being too tropical, palm tree kind of, that kind of thing. It's got a beautiful, elegant, clean, bright look, and it just says Palm Beach.
Well, we have an office here, and we have an office in Martha's Vineyard, a small island off Massachusetts. But my career started in the Northeast, and I trained under really, really fine people. So I learned a lot about architecture, design, and art. And I've carried it with me all these years, and I'm a voracious reader about design, and I'm always wanting to learn something new. So in the late 80s, my late husband retired here, and I thought, well, I guess what am I going to do? So I continued my career and decided to open up my own design studio. So our look it's classic. I trained in the classics, so that's why you may like our look, because everything's very balanced and symmetrical. But it's about our client's style. What do our clients want? We brand our clients. So anything you see on our website is basically a client look that we have created for them, based on what they want.
That's beautiful, and that's so important, to give the clients what they want and to glean information from their own personalities and their lifestyles and what they need.
That's right.
In order to accomplish something that is an environment that's not only beautiful but easy to live in.
Right. And it's their look.
Yeah.
It's not my look, it's their look. So it's a beautiful thing, because they can then look back and say, well, I designed my home. And they did design their home.
Yes.
So that is our look. We're standing in a scheme right now where the client wants something very coastal. So it's all blues and whites and very airy. But we've had clients come in that want something totally different. They may want a very classic antique kind of a look. And we have designed that as well.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so we go all over the map.
So what would you say is your most memorable design job that you've done? And tell me a little bit about that.
It's really a cute story.
Okay.
About 15 years ago, I was driving home from or 15, maybe it was 20, from a project I had going on in Western Pennsylvania. And I received a phone call from the late Edgar Kaufman. The late Edgar Kaufman's family was the family that hired Frank Lloyd Wright to design Falling Water. And Edgar asked me if I would work with him to refurbish the interior of the Falling Water. I was shocked because that's just not the type of work I do. I wasn't at the time a Frank Lloyd Wright fan. I didn't really understand his sense of design. It was probably more than 20 years ago. It was probably 30. So I said, Edgar, let me just think about this, and let me call you back when I get back to my office, and I'll look at my calendar. Well, I told my husband. He said, Gil, you have to take this job. I said, no, I really don't like Frank Lloyd Wright. He said, no, I think you need to think about this.
Yes.
You need to go to the library. So I went to the library, and I learned a lot about Frank Lloyd Wright within a long weekend. And I called Edgar back, and I said, Edgar, I would like to work with you. So it's the challenge of design. I think we all, as people, have to step to a challenge and step outside of the box and realize, once again, this was not my home, this was his home. Just like when a client comes to us, you have to really embrace what they want. So it started a lifelong, and I'm still at it with Falling Water. I'm on their board, and I love everything about Frank Lloyd Wright. But it made me step out of the box.
That's wonderful. But you know, I always relate this to not only art, but also to music. You have to have those firm foundations. You mentioned about being educated in architecture and design and all of these things that you really do need to know about in order to pull things together no matter what the style is.
Correct. There are rules.
Yes.
Just like as an artist,
Yes.
as you are, you were trained with the rules.
Yes.
And those rules are the center of art and design.
Mm-hmm.
You can do contemporary, you can do traditional, you can do almost anything if you understand the rules.
That is so important.
Yeah,
I can't emphasize that enough.
me too.
So what's your favorite style?
Well, I love everything, so I have an eclectic home. I have modern, I have modern, I have, tropical, but it all works. So when people come to my home, they like it because they walk in the door and they see collections
Yes.
of very interesting pieces. And that's how we design. We look at each room with the client and say every piece has to be an art piece. Whether it's the chair you sit on, the table you dine, the cutlery that you pick up to dine with. Everything is an art piece, but it's functional.
I love that. I really love that. So I just found out something interesting about you. So I guess that Gil plays a mean game of golf because she had a babysitter who was none other than Arnold Palmer.
It was painful. When the mothers went off to do their errands, the husbands babysat. And my father was a doctor, so he wasn't around that much. And Arnold was not around that much because he was working on the tour. So when those men became available, they became the babysitters. So what did Arnold do? He gave each child a golf club. And there were only 4 girls, my sister and myself and his 2 children. And he would take us to his club, which was our club, the Latrobe Club. And he'd teach us how to swing a golf club. And then he would stop and say, okay, girls, I'm going to let you rest because I'm going to swing a golf club. And you can go down the field and you can pick up all my golf balls. Because at that time, they didn't really have the machines that were picking up golf balls. It was painful. And it continued. He was he refereed all the boyfriends that came to visit the house. I mean, he was very much in our lives. And he actually introduced me to the first design firm that I worked for.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
a great
lovely.
Man. Yeah, it was a fun story.
Well, all that exercise paid off because
Oh,
she's got a darling figure.
Well, thank you.
She looks really good.
Well, I swing a lot of clubs.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this beautiful interview, an interesting interview, tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you
Oh.
to get their own consultation or have their own environment made beautiful by Gil Walsh.
Well, it's very easy. We have a website, and if you can just remember Gil Walsh, it'll come up on Google, Gil Walsh Interiors, and all the information is there, and you will see all the different projects we have done, and none of them are alike, because it's where style lives. And style lives in every one of us, and each of us has a different style.
Lovely. Thank you.
This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. All right.